He refuses to talk to any women at work. Now we're the problem for wanting a normal coworker. Wasn't. I started paying way more attention to Dan's patterns after that, and honestly, what I discovered made everything so much worse. Like, I'm not usually the type to analyze someone's every move, but his behavior was so obviously problematic that I felt like I needed to understand what was really going on. And trust me, once I started looking closer, the evidence was everywhere. Every single morning, Dan would walk in, say good morning to the general room, and then immediately start conversations with whatever guys were around. He'd ask Jake about his weekend, joke around with Marcus about some TV show they both watched, even chat with our supervisor about random stuff for 10 or 15 minutes. But when any of us women would try to join these conversations or start our own with him, he'd suddenly become all business and professional. It was like watching someone flip a switch. I started keeping track of specific incidents because I couldn't believe how blatant it was getting. Like this one time, Megan mentioned she was having car trouble and was stressed about getting it fixed, and Dan was literally standing right there but didn't offer any help or even acknowledge what she said. But later that same day, when Marcus mentioned his car was making weird noises, Dan spent 20 minutes giving him advice about mechanics and even offered to take a look at it. 20 minutes for a guy he'd known for less than a year, while completely ignoring a woman asking for the exact same type of help. The lunch situation got even more ridiculous. We'd see him eating alone or sometimes joining the guys when they went out, but he never once accepted any invitation from us women. Sarah tried inviting him to join our group probably 6 different times, and every single time he had some excuse. But then he'd go grab coffee with the guys or join them for their after-work drinks like it was no big deal. It was so obvious that he was actively avoiding us, and honestly, it was starting to feel really personal and hurtful. What really got to me was how different his whole personality seemed to be depending on who he was talking to. With the guys, he was funny and relaxed and normal. He'd make jokes, share stories about his life, even complain about stuff like traffic or his apartment or whatever. But with us, everything was yes, ma'am and no, ma'am and these super formal, cold responses that made every interaction feel awkward and uncomfortable. Megan pointed out that he never asked any of us personal questions either. Like, he'd ask the guys about their hobbies, their families, their weekend plans, but he never showed any curiosity about our lives outside of work. It was like he saw us as robots who only existed during business hours, while the male coworkers were actual people worth getting to know. The breaking point came during this team meeting we had where everyone was supposed to share something interesting about themselves. All the guys got these engaged, curious responses from Dan. He asked follow-up questions, made connections to his own experiences, even laughed at their stories. But when it was my turn to talk about my weekend hiking trip, he just nodded politely and didn't say a single word. Same thing happened to Sarah when she talked about her photography hobby and to Megan when she mentioned her volunteer work, just polite nods and silence. After that meeting, the 3 of us grabbed coffee and really talked about what was happening. We all agreed that his behavior was beyond weird. It was actually creating this hostile environment where we felt excluded and unwelcome in our own workplace. Sarah said she'd never experienced anything like it, and Megan mentioned that she was starting to dread coming to work because she felt so awkward and uncomfortable around him. I realized that what bothered me most was how unfair the whole situation was.